Today is the official first day of fall, and so Disney has decided to remind us of the fact that
winter is coming
by releasing a trailer for Frozen 2. The trailer is full of breadcrumb hints and tantalizing glimpses of the upcoming film. So we've buckled down, sifted through, and brought you a comprehensive guide to what will go down in Frozen 2. Far away, as north as we can go, once stood an Enchanted Forest. Begins the new trailer for Frozen 2. The clip reveals that much of the new film will center around this forest and the journey to and through it. This forest, the narrator says, was a magical place, but something went wrong. Since then, no one can get in or out. The opening shot of the trailer shows the magic woods, and in front stand 4 obelisks, Stonehenge style. Now, if you look closely, you can see that they each have a triangle on them. The insides of each respective triangle, though, have their own unique design that are reminiscent of old Norse ruins. Each one could stand in for a different element and also different supernatural power. The first Frozen was, obviously, all about ice and snow. After a whole movie of visual, emotional, and narrative riffing on winter, that bone has been picked pretty much dry.
Let's go bring back summer!
I'm coming.
That's why in Frozen 2, Disney is diversifying its elemental holdings, adding 3 new ones: Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, like the band. A side note, it's a strange coincidence to say the least that this trailer for Frozen 2 has been released in September. The name of Earth, Wind, and Fire's most famous song is a cameo in the works? 70s music aside, what role will these elements actually play? Well, there are a few possibilities. In the trailer, we see leaves being blown around in circles and through city streets, wrenching windows open and slamming them closed. Just like in the previous trailer, there's that purple fire, which moves either with a mind of its own or at the behest of another magically endowed character. We also get a closer look at the giant rock monsters, no relation to the rock lobster.
It was a rock lobster!
As they chuck stones at Kristoff and Anna, who are trying to escape on Sven. These monsters could just be their own species, but they do look an awful lot like Marshmallow, the giant snow monster that Elsa created back in Frozen 1. Chances are we could be seeing not only snow monsters, but leaf, wind, rock, and fire monsters too. And just like Marshmallow, someone will be controlling them. But who? There's the fact that these powers could be introduced as a system of checks and balances for Queen Elsa, kinda like the mutually dependent branches of the American government. As the all-powerful Ice Queen, she doesn't have much standing in her way, and it would be fun to see her meet her match. Similar to the system in Avatar: The Last Airbender, there would be different characters each able to control their own element. The challenge in Frozen 2 would be the task of balancing all these elements and finding some sort of harmony. Who exactly could be the vessel for these powers? There's a good chance that it will be Anna. Aside from the fact that having magical powers could run in the family, the new trailer gives us reason to believe that Anna, or anyone else, could learn to control ice, wind, earth, or fire.
Whoa. So this is heat.
Sterling K. Brown, taking a break from being the disheveled prosecutor of O.J. Simpson,
Mr. Darby.
This case is a circus.
plays a mystery soldier in Frozen 2. In a tiny moment in the trailer, he says, flabbergasted, "Where did you learn magic?" The emphasis here is on 2 things. First, he's revealed that magic can be learned and not necessarily an inborn quality, unlike the Mamba mentality.
Unless he thinks he can entice Kobe Bryant.
Second, the trailer hints at the fact that it may be Anna who learns it. As the words are spoken, Anna is on screen. Plus, although she doesn't exactly play second fiddle in Frozen 1, Anna's probably tired of being the sister without powers, and a little sisterly rivalry would be just the thing to shake up Arendelle after everything ended up so peachy back in 2014. When Elsa refuses to let her come on the journey, Anna's already testy, saying, "Excuse me, I climbed the North Mountain, survived a frozen heart, and saved you from my boyfriend, so you know, I'm coming." Another possibility is that these new elements are an expansion of Elsa's powers. The first movie was all about her struggle to come to terms with her powers and how the people of Arendelle ostracized her because of her icy, witchy exception. This type of plot is as old as time itself and the calling card of Disney, so its return is pretty much a foregone conclusion, but just how it will be implemented in Frozen 2 is still an open question. The Northundra. Along their journey north through the Enchanted Forest, Elsa and the gang don't just meet monsters, they also make friends. Specifically, they run into a nomadic tribe called the Northundra. Although we don't have much concrete information on them, You can bet that the Northundra will help guide the Southerners through the harsh northern world. Their leader, the tough-looking matriarch Yelena, definitely looks up to the task. She makes the big decisions for the people in her little society and, bearing this responsibility, is fiercely protective of them. The only other members of her clan that we've seen are named Honeymaren and Ryder, who we also don't know much about, although Disney has provided us with some tidbits. Honeymaren, according to Disney, is a true free spirit and wants nothing more than to bring peace to the Enchanted Forest. She is bold and brave, with a reverence for the magic of nature. Not only does this sound a lot like Elsa, it also sounds a lot like someone who could be endowed with magical powers. Ryder, Honeymaren's brother, is eager and fun, and embraces life with optimism. He seems to be the northern version of Kristoff, including the reindeer obsession. This could be the germ of a rivalry between the two, or a hint at the fate of Sven. Speaking of which, there are two key elements in the trailer featuring reindeer. First of all, there's a brief shot of Sven, unaccompanied by Kristoff, running wild and free with his fellow reindeer over the open plains. Could it be that Kristoff sets Sven free in a "if you love someone, let them go" moment? Did the nomadic Northundrians convince him that Sven would be happier if he wasn't domesticated? Or maybe he just gets separated from Kristoff in the frenzy of a battle and is picked up by a herd of fellow reindeer?
How do you do, fellow kids?
Either way, we know for sure that he comes back with a reindeer army in tow. The shot right after the one of Sven on the plains is of a baby reindeer held in the arms of a young girl, maybe Anna, or maybe her mom Iduna. Either way, the reindeer will figure prominently in the new movie and could be a link between generations of humans. In the new trailer, there's a shot of Elsa and the crew, Kristoff, Anna, Sven, and Olaf, facing a wall of mist. Elsa goes Moses and with a flick of her wrist parts the vapor barrier. There are two implications here. One is that Elsa is able to control not just ice and snow, but also water. Ice is, after all, just frozen water. The discovery of her new aquatic ability may come at another point in the trailer, where she tries to scale huge waves by making an ice ramp. The scene, a classic archetypal rebirth, drips with heavy-handed symbolism. It's likely the moment where Elsa overcomes a block within herself, opening up her magical powers towards the use of not just ice and snow, but also water. The second hint here could lead us to the basis of Frozen 2's plot. When you see someone parting anything, especially something water-based, it's hard not to think of Moses parting the Red Sea. In Exodus, him and the Israelites are running away from the Egyptian army and find themselves at the Red Sea. Moses holds up his staff and God parts the waters, allowing them to cross. Similarly, in the new trailer, we see the citizens of Arendelle fleeing into the hills with their spiritually and supernaturally connected leader, Elsa, who parts a sea of fog. This is not to say that Frozen 2 is going to be some sort of religious parable. It's rather that the film looks like it will be based, at least in part, on a classic old story. The first Frozen was also based on an old book. Although not quite as old as the Bible, Hans Christian Andersen's Snow Queen from the 19th century was the basis for Frozen 1, even though the writers of the movie took a lot of liberties with the specifics. On a less serious note, who doesn't love a cute sidekick? It looks like Frozen 2 will see Elsa with a new friend, and no, it's not the Geico Gecko. The little lizard is actually a salamander named Bruni. The little information we have on him is that 1, he's curious, and 2, Elsa conjures him little snowflake snacks out of thin air. Agnar and Iduna, Elsa and Anna's parents. Another revelation from the new trailer is King Agnar and his wife Iduna, also known as Elsa and Anna's parents. You may remember from earlier in the video that the trailer starts with some narration, a once-upon-a-time style story about the Enchanted Forest. The guy telling the story is Agnar, and the audience is Anna and Elsa. This presents a few possible paths that Frozen 2 might take. One is flashback heavy, with Elsa and Anna re-examining their sheltered childhood as they journey north through the forest, present-day struggles giving new meaning to things of their past. Another would present a narrative framed by Agnar, who would narrate all the way through the film, Princess Bride style. The third and most improbable path is the resurrection of Anna and Elsa's parents. Although it is improbable Frozen 2 will have ghosts in it, the journey through the forest looks like it will mostly be a psychological one. And what's a psychological deep dive without mommy and daddy issues? It's also important to remember that we're dealing with a magical world in Frozen, where snowmen talk and fire is purple, so a supernatural vision isn't too beyond the pale. At this point, everyone knows that Frozen 2 is about Elsa finding her powers. But where does she find them, and what spurs her to look? There's this voice, Elsa says. As the diamond runes shoot from her body, something inside her that's urging her to search for the origins of her powers. Pabby the wise troll tells her to follow her urge, that the kingdom is not safe, and that the only way to help is to journey north and find who is calling you, because they may have answers. The people up north with the answers are not Canadians, but they may be the Northundrians. Seemingly smothered in a blanket of fog since the mysterious event where something went wrong, the people of Northuldra are cut off from the rest of the world but connected to nature, which in the world of Frozen means knowing about magic. The seasonal elemental forces that are taking hold of Arendelle and calling Elsa north are likely rooted in Northuldra and its ancient conflict with the south that is foreshadowed in her dad's bedtime story and in the vision conjured up by Pebby. She may learn some of the dark moments of conquest in her kingdom's past. What do you think will become of Elsa and the gang? Will Anna discover her magic powers? Will Kristoff? Will they all make it out of the Enchanted Forest unscathed? Let us know your own theories about Frozen 2, and as always, subscribe to ScreenRant.